Well, howdy, and welcome back once again to the Withlacoochee River Report, the report where you'll be highly offended by my compelling rhetoric. Today we're in Newport Richey, Florida at a Regal show, and let's get on inside and follow me through the intro, and let's get on inside to see what we got. The infamous dollar box. Of course, Zitnik is here. He's at all of Why was interrupted. Oh, we got some Lionel over here. Always interesting stuff.
This was that speech where you're sucking in here, right?
Hey, you guys doing my table. What's going on here, guy? No, guys.
FBI.
FBI, come here. I got a little present for you. Come meet my little friend.
Come meet my little friend.
At this point, it's very little.
Only about 3 grand.
You say he can't keep it up?
I have his note. I have his name and all on my desk. I moved it to my
Oh.
Let's look at 30 to 50. Right? It costs me 20, but it's $20. I did that.
Oh.
All me guaranteed.
How are you today? I'm good, thank you.
Alrighty. Huh. KD couplers. Very good. Oh, I need to get some more 805s. Yes, that Nick's always got interesting stuff.
Let's see when before we come in the door.
That was our tradition.
Be prepared. There's one, there's First Frost, which is October.
It was like Christmas.
There was 2 places that First Frost. One earlier. I run around some military. He makes specialty.
He sold his Hudson. Dang. I'm gonna find a way to get $76, $75 together. That does suck. I see you sold that Hudson.
No, we got it.
Oh.
Cleaned it up.
Oh, okay.
Now it's $200 more.
Ah, looks real pretty now.
Looks nice, huh?
Time on, you got to fix the time on later.
Yeah, he's gonna change that to $175 now.
I'll leave them where somebody can do something with it, and then they beat me up on it. And I said, you know what? I'll do it.
Yeah.
It didn't take long.
You haven't run into any more
My little paintbrush.
custom painted engines, have you?
The ones that are out here. The only one that is that silver one. Painted. That used to be a Texas special.
Oh, what a waste.
Well, somebody painted it.
Yeah. Well, you can't blame it on one guy. I mean, there's a bunch of people that'll do that. I paint them too, but I always try to get them back as close as humanly possible to what they were. They'll never be valuable, you know, because of that, because somebody went and brush painted green paint on them.
Like this.
Exactly. Oh. Hey, I got that Ontario Northland caboose. I got that red roof painted blue again, like it's supposed to be. I just happened to have the right color of blue in a spray can there.
How'd you get the old paint off, or didn't you?
I didn't. I went right over it. I masked the car off real good, and because the car is, it looks pristine now.
Good.
Got another CW80 over there.
CW40.
Oh, that's a CW40? What's the difference?
40 doesn't have the accessory posts.
Oh. Doesn't have the whistle and direction? Huh. One thing about those CW80s, they don't like my MTH diesels. The one I've got hooked up to the main line, because I've got two of them now, because I bought one from you. And the one I'm working into the yard will not run my my MTH engines at all. They'll make noise. They'll make plenty of noise. The horn stays on the RS1. The RS3 will sit there and just idle. You can't get it to go. But my other CW80, it runs them fine on the main line. So I don't know what it is. It's just there's nothing wrong with the transformer because it runs my line L's just fine. Yep.
Y'all driving style is so different. Like, I don't know if they care if you get home or not. Oh, you don't put it away? No? Okay. Oh, really? Well, I won't go no
Oh, they actually have food here today. Huh. Somebody actually brought in some standard gauge.
What they call a critical rate. They do a BS on the start. So you have the sign will separate because they didn't get down there. They never do. Take care.
Lots of interesting stuff here. Not a bad show, but not a great one.
I just pull all
Yeah, check with hurricanes came. We had the whole front yard decorated. We took the decorations down before the storm hit.
Well, if you want to see it next year, we had to.
No, we said we put them back up.
We have over 20 painted wooden pumpkins. They're about 3 foot tall each of them, and they're on stakes. And then they go all over the yard. But I said they're hiding in the screen porch. We actually have them decorated. We're down near the beaches down there.
Well, it's the next day. It's Sunday, the 23rd of February, 2025. We had our show yesterday down in Newport Richey, Florida. It was different, and I'm going to take you there. Well, I should have already taken you there by the time you're seeing this portion, because I did all the starting video down there. It wasn't a bad show. It was a pretty good show. As you can clearly see, I ended up with another Rico station kit. This one was already partially built, from what I understand from the guy I got it from. The guy he got it from, his granddaughter, he was letting his granddaughter build some of the building kits that he had on hand, and she got into this one without his knowledge of it at first. I guess she thought she was going to surprise her grandpa. But as things turned out, I guess Grandpa was none too pleased that this kit got halfway built. It's okay. It's a beautiful kit. She didn't do a bad job for probably a child who put a building together. It's solidly together the way it's sitting. So I will probably go ahead and finish this one up, get it painted up, and get it all set and go. This one obviously is from the 1970s and 1980s era. That's the box that I believe the kit came in. And with the 1970s and 80s era MPC box. And no, it still didn't have any glass. Didn't have any window glass. Well, darn. Okay. Anyway, that's what I ended up with. We did okay as far as sales went. I went ahead and I was able to do a little bit of restock. Most of the rolling stock I got out of that restock sold off right away. Thank goodness. We made our money back. Okay. Alrighty, let's zoom in here and you'll see that I ended up getting a B unit. I got that for the princely sum of $10. It had evidently been dropped. And let me show you. You can see the sides and the roof are in pristine condition. The bosses are broken out of one end, which those can be glued back in. However, the one boss is still in here. But with those bosses broken out, I don't know if I'll be able to get to where I can actually use this. I do have another B unit shell that matches the. And fortunately, this one here has. It's got its full drive. It still works. It's got nice Blomberg trucks on it, and that's kind of like what I was looking for. And I found this, and it's wow. And from the same guy I got these trucks from, on this one, I got this from, and I got this for $10. He was all kind of upset, and I'm thinking, you know, I like this roof better. I like the detail on the sides better. The side, like I said, the sides are intact. The roof has a little chip out of it up here. I'm wondering if I could find a way of putting this back together. I would love to be able to put this back together. We did okay as far as sales went. I went ahead and I was able to do a little bit of restock. Most of the rolling stock I got out of that restock sold off right away. Thank goodness. We made our money back. Okay. Alrighty, let's zoom in here and you'll see that I ended up getting a B unit. I got that for the princely sum of $10. It had evidently been dropped. And let me show you. You can see the sides and the roof are in pristine condition. The bosses are broken out of one end, which those can be glued back in. However, the one boss is still in here, but with those bosses broken out, I don't know if I'll be able to get to where I can actually use this. I do have another B unit shell that matches the. And fortunately, this one here has. It's got its full drive. It still works. It's got nice Blomberg trucks on it, and that's kind of like what I was looking for. And I found this, and it's wow. And from the same guy I got these trucks from, on this one, I got this from, and I got this for $10. He was all kind of upset, and I'm thinking, you know, I like this roof better. I like the detail on the sides better. The side, like I said, the sides are intact. The roof has a little chip out of it up here. I'm wondering if I could find a way of putting this back together. I would love to be able to put this back together. I don't know if I've got them all. I may not have enough bits and pieces to actually put the ends back together. But it would... it would give me a nice B unit that would go along with that A unit. And like I said, this one's also powered, so I'm sure I would have to find a way of making it work with that A unit. Since, yeah, whatever. Anyway, let me move that out of the way. I did get this here. Old Atlas, or it's old Bev Bell from the 1980s. It's probably Bev Bell. 1980s era. I don't remember Atlas having the graphics that nice in their 1970s era cars, and I don't remember them doing a Monon boxcar. Whereas Bev Bell pretty much covered all the road names with those boxcars. So that's just the way it goes. And then the same guy that sold me the B unit, he decided he wanted to do a little bit of trading. So over here, let me get over here. I ended up with a 2044, which is okay. It runs good. It's the exact same drive system that my other Pacific has. It's the same body, same boiler shell. Probably keep that one. He traded me for those Alco units that I got from from a friend of mine that my wife snookered me into, so that I'd have a pair of Alco units in the so-called war bonnet scheme. Yeah, we know how that works. Anyway, I'm pretty pleased with that engine. I may just put it on the main line here and pull some boxcars with it to see how well it actually does in full practice. It's like I said, it's a good runner, and I'm kind of happy with it. So that was the show yesterday, and that was my big haul. I did get some more KD couplers because Zitniks never misses a one of Joe's shows at one of Joe's Regal train shows. He never misses one of those. So, and that's a good thing. So I was able to get me some couplers from Zitnik trains. They had full. I got me some 805s and one package of 804s because he only had three pair of 805s with him. That's all right. He'll be back at the next train show. Our next show coming up is in a couple of weeks. It'll be at Dana's, and then a couple of weeks after that we will be. They are having a March show in Pinellas Park. We're not going to Pinellas Park. Pinellas Park is a little far for us. Not going down to Newport Richey, but Newport Richey is easier for us to get to. Pinellas Park is it's a royal pain in the butt. So, well, shoot it. It runs on the track on the main line just fine for the most part. I've got probably a little too much weight on it because the freight cars that I have are a little heavier than what it's normally used to pulling. I'm sure it's used to pulling those little 027 cars. It's a good running little engine. I like it. But it doesn't want to really stay on the track, so it smokes like crazy though. That thing does smoke like crazy. So I guess I'll be using the smoke fluid in that one. Anyway, as you can see, I tried to lighten up the train a little bit for that engine. It's a small engine by comparison to what it should be if it were a full-scale engine. I like it. I'm wondering if there's ways we could actually scale-ize these engines. You know, because getting steam engines in full scale, of course, costs you full money, too. So, you know, I just wonder if there's a way to do that. I'm sure there probably is. Of course, that Monon boxcar is going to roll fine. It's an old Atlas. What do you expect? It's a beautiful car. It does what it's supposed to. I'm going to have to figure out why the pony truck or the four-wheel pilot truck wants to keep jumping off. You know, the way you would scale-ize that engine, I would figure, is you would have to take and put a different pilot on it somehow. Maybe grind off and put on a bigger cab. Definitely put a framed trailing truck on it, you know, one that has a frame coming out, you know, because, everybody knows that firebox or that trailing truck is there to hold, help support the firebox. Of course, naturally, I'm liking the old Atlas, aka Roco, aka Bev Bell Corporation boxcar. Like I said, I'm coming to the conclusion that was probably a 1980s remake. Remember, they brought all those freight cars back out in the 1980s. For them. because there was, and Bev Bell got a hold of a bunch of them and did all the paint work. They were released in plain white boxes in the 1980s, with a label on the end, of course. It doesn't matter. It's the same cars that you would have gotten out of the Atlas box in the 1970s. So it's still a good-looking car. And it's great to see these, see them bring something like that back every once in a while. But let's talk about that a little bit. One of the things that I've noticed this in a lot of train shows, and this is purely my speculation, my opinions on things. But I've noticed in a lot of train shows, especially with the loss of a friend just a few weeks ago, that this hobby is not getting any younger. Well, that kind of, when you think about it, kind of coincides. America isn't getting any younger either. In fact, if anything, America is aging. It's getting older. With all the people who don't want to have children, all the young people coming up today, they don't want to get married, they don't want any commitments, they don't want this, they don't want that. People keep asking, is our hobby dying? Well, in a word, yes, it is. In a word, you may not believe it, but probably within the next few decades, this hobby will be gone from the face of the earth and nobody will even know it was here. Except maybe the few that do archaeology. In 5,000 years, they're going to find all these model trains in people's basements. In what used to be called basements, in the ruins that are left over from the 20th and 21st centuries. But, the hobby itself, it'll be around in some form or another. You'll always have model builders. And model railroading as a hobby isn't dying in the sense that we see it dying. The way we see it dying is they're going to price themselves completely out of their own market. I'm sorry, Lionel, MTH, Atlas O, y'all don't have an excuse for charging the kind of money you do. Entry-level stuff. And the entry-level stuff you might offer isn't even in scale. It's, toy-like crap. You don't have any entry-level for the adult that might want to get interested in it. But one of the things, like I was going to start out saying, one of the things that we notice in this hobby is it's aging. And the same can be said for the radio control model airplane hobby. The same can be said for the model car hobby. And that's all model cars. That's not only model kits, that's not only your 1/25th scale plastic model kits from Revell or AMT or Revelogram or whatever. That's every hobby on the planet. Every hobby that we've grown up knowing and loving all our lives, yes, they are all dying. The only reason anybody's involved in it like Lionel or MTH or Atlas O or anybody else, the only reason because they can still make money at it. They add in a few electronic bits and pieces. What, costs them about $10? They charge you several hundred. Yeah, we know. And then the and when I say it only costs them about $10 per engine, it probably does. I have it on pretty good authority that if you buy one of today's Lionel Vision Line engines, top of the line Lionel, yeah, it looks real pretty. It probably runs real pretty. But you buy one of those today, and somebody from Lionel let a friend of mine know that, those electronics aren't any good. They're not going to last more than a couple of years. You go spend $1,000 on a new computer system, it might last you 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe up to 10, 15 years. Depends on how you use it. If you're dependent upon a lot of graphics and stuff like that, it's going to last you a little less. If you're dependent upon, just having something to organize your own personal business, then it'll probably last you a while. But I've noticed yesterday there were very few children in there yesterday, if there were any at all. I don't remember seeing too much in the way of kids. Yeah, I know the Costa Mesa Club, or the Costa Mesa Great Scale Train Show, or whatever it was, the Great Train Show that was held out in Costa Mesa recently. You saw a lot of kids there. But then that was parents that were looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon. That wasn't... And they just happened to have their kids with them, and they went and they watched the trains, and how many of those kids are going to get into the hobby? Probably very few of them. There would probably be a few, but I'd say very few. This is not the big hobby that you think that it is. It's not the big-time business that you think it is. These companies aren't making trillions of dollars a year. They're making millions. Oh, yeah, they're making in the millions. Yeah, Lionel, MTH, Atlas O, even Athearn now that, thank God they were bought out by Horizon and not Walthers. And not William K. Walters, the chief instigator who took and took 3 cents worth of nuts and bolts, put them in a package and charged you $5 for them. Yeah, those people. We do have greed in the hobby. It does exist. It's getting worse all the time. You see it all the time. Okay. Hold on. I had to answer a phone call. Even on Sunday I get called. My wife wants to go have breakfast. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to... I might just use the body shell off of that other, if I can modify it to fit that. But I have to admit, I like the sides off of that. Yeah, I can't really use this. Maybe I can use the ends off of that other body shell. Anyway, what I was saying, is this hobby dying? Yes, it is. Is it going to die before us? Probably not. No, it's going to be around for a while longer. But like everything else, it's going to die off because we're going to die off. Like I said yesterday at the train show, and you'll notice that there weren't very many children there. I don't remember seeing any children at the show yesterday. While I've seen kids at our Brooksville show, I've seen kids up at the Crystal River show, to not see kids at a Newport Richie show, that does seem strange. But it was a smaller venue and everything, and not everybody probably knew about it. But hey, it's one of those things. Kids just are not getting involved in model trains anymore. Not like they did when we were young. So, with that being said, yes, it's a dying hobby. Almost everything's a dying hobby. Including Lionel, collecting, and all of that. When you really boil it down, how much is your stuff really worth? Did you buy those brass locomotives as an investment 30 years ago? And yeah, you're making a little money off of them now. Great, wonderful. You better make it while you can. Because they really aren't worth more than the price of scrap brass. They really aren't. I don't care if you paid $3,000 or $4,000 for that O-scale big boy that was put out by Key Imports, or what was it, West Side Models back in the late 1970s. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful model if the parts aren't falling off of it. I'll give Lionel credit there. They do, you know, they got their Chinese slaves to build it a little bit better than West Side Models did its Japanese guys in Japan when they built their big boy. That O-scale big boy, by the way, guys, won't run on 3 rails. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, don't fret. The hobby is a dying hobby. Everything's a dying hobby. So it doesn't matter whether you're building model cars or you're running model trains or you're flying model airplanes. It doesn't matter. Eventually, it's all going to go away anyway. You may not be around to see it. I may not be around to see it, but it's going to go. It's going to fade. There's going to be, you know, the day's going to come when they're going to break into your house. You know, you're long gone. You know, you don't need to worry about it, but they're going to break into your house. They're going to wonder, what the heck is all this in the basement or in the garage? But talk about something that's in the way. No wonder these people couldn't move around much. They're not even going to know what this is all about till they do a little research, and you know, that might carry the hobby on a few decades longer. People that would find an interest in it, but like I said, you don't see the kids getting interested in it anymore, and it's not all because they're all doing this number. That's part of it. And what, you know, what's the big difference that they're going to make when it comes to maybe especially control systems? Oh well. Yes, it's a dying hobby. And I don't expect it to be around forever. Nothing's going to last forever. You know, do you realize they had hobbies back in the ancient times? They had hobbies then. They don't have hobbies today like that today. They had hobbies. They had hobbies in the 18th century, the 19th century. They were there. We didn't see it. Trains and model buildings and things like that. They did exist. So, you know, we have no clue. But I guarantee you the hobbies as they existed then don't exist now. Anyway, my wife is getting ready to want to go eat something, so it's time for me to go and get unplugged in here and get out of here. So until next time, happy railroading.